Hello everybody, welcome back to another video on the Chicagoland weather stand. Today we'll be talking about a potential dangerous multi-day severe weather outbreak that is heading for our area. As you can see right here, I've pulled up the Storm Prediction Center forecasting map, and you can see that for day 2, which is tomorrow, the Chicagoland area is placed under the enhanced. It is a 3 out of the 5. It may be upgraded to a 4, especially on Thursday. Tomorrow, mainly the threat is going to be for wind, but Thursday it's pretty much anything: tornadoes, hail, wind, torrential downpours tomorrow as well. So I want to talk about this, as this thing is looking very potent, especially with the ingredients that we have. I mean, if you're in the area and you've been outside, you've been knowing how humid and hot it is. It literally feels like it is just moisture hanging in the air. And this is what the map looks like for Thursday. Again, you can see Chicago is under the gun. Pretty much the whole forecasting area is under the gun for a enhanced, a 3 out of 5. Again, the probabilities with Thursday are a bit more concerning, a bit more widespread. There could be not just wind damage, but also hail and tornadoes. But I will get into all of those details right now. So now I want to take you guys to tropicaltidbits.com. This is a website with weather forecasting models of all sorts. It is very good. You can see it's in the upper right hand corner there for tropicaltidbits.com. I use this website very often. I am zoomed in right now on the north central region of the United States. You can see Illinois there. I can't go more further in on this website, so this will have to do, but I like it being a little more zoomed out than just the forecasting area of Chicagoland, as it gives us a view and idea of what is going on around us. And note, right now we are at 5 o'clock Wednesday, or Tuesday I should say, when I'm recording this. There are some thunderstorms beginning to brew across Indiana, Illinois. However, this is not the main event. These are mainly just going to produce torrential rainfall, as they have been. I'm sure in many of the areas across the region you've been experiencing potential flooding. I know in my area we got actually kind of lucky. We didn't experience as much, but these future thunderstorms into Wednesday and Thursday will definitely exaggerate those conditions, those flooding conditions, as the torrential rains will continue. Very, very efficient rain. Notice that into the overnight hours on Wednesday, going into Wednesday, most of the activity is going to stay to the north. There are a few signs, a few models showing that maybe if things are very aggressive and very bullish for the thunderstorm scenario, there could be some thunderstorms grazing southern Wisconsin and extreme northwestern Illinois. However, for now, it is mainly going to stay dry, and that is what I have also in the forecast. Do note that as we get towards Wednesday, this is where we have the potential first round of storms. Even though this is split across 2 days, there could be potential 3 distinct opportunities, maybe even 4. Now, this model, the HRRR, I find to be the best high-resolution model, but like with any other model, summer thunderstorms are very hard to predict. One eruption somewhere can completely influence the next one that is a few hours down, a few miles down, and it's very, very hard for these models to pinpoint them exactly. But I have found that this model does the best job. It has consistently been showing that there could be a potential wave across the area tomorrow at around 3 to 4 or 5 p.m. Any storm that develops, especially early on, can definitely develop into a supercell. Now, the hail threat will remain further towards the western areas. Tornado threat is also there, again, further west, but that is not the main concern. The main concern is that this will quickly develop into a wind event. By the way, as I mentioned already, torrential rain with any storms that do develop tomorrow across Wednesday into 4 or 5 p.m. Unfortunately, with this timing, it seems as if this may be occurring right over the rush hour, anywhere from, again, the southern viewing extent of the area across north central Illinois all the way up to southern Wisconsin and into Indiana. Potentially waves of storms developing. Now, again, this is not certain. Tonight's events of thunderstorms out in Minnesota, Wisconsin can completely change what happens across Illinois tomorrow. That's just how it works, unfortunately, for forecasting. And do note that by 7 o'clock, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, we have potential more waves of storms developing. Notice how these are developing into bow echoes very quickly, and moving from initially west to east, and then developing kind of that southern direction as the gust starts to direct where that thunderstorm is going. So definitely be prepared for that. Tomorrow, I think, will be the hottest day of the year by far. Heat indices reaching up to 100 degrees area-wide. And again, this model is the one that is more aggressive. I don't think it will be as aggressive with thunderstorms across the area tomorrow here, but I do believe there will be some activity, as some models are showing nothing. However, despite what this is, right, I mean, we have wave after wave into the first one starting in the afternoon, then into the overnight hours, more showers before exiting maybe around 2 a.m. tomorrow, giving us a brief window of break. You could see that across Iowa we have potential new cluster of thunderstorms developing. Now, this would be early Thursday morning. Again, Thursday is the nastier day because the low pressure is stronger. The dynamics of basically tornado probability is higher, and the atmosphere is just as capable of producing those torrential rainfalls and that wind and hail. So it's basically like Wednesday but supercharged. And do note that that cluster is looking pretty mean, and this is just the morning hours of Thursday, right? As we put this forward, it basically grazes the northern area of the viewing area, the southern Wisconsin counties. Again, tracking a thunderstorm complex this far out is going to be very tricky. Even though it's only 46 hours out, how the thunderstorms tomorrow during the day develop will completely influence how this goes. So my best advice is obviously know ahead of time that there is a risk for severe weather, and these storms, where they do develop, can be nasty, but you got to keep your eyes to the sky and on the radar and check that frequently. Don't just look at the hourly. That often is misleading. It just assumes that based off the radar. Use a little bit of your brain to assume where these things are popping up and where they will be going based on the information I'm giving you here. Notice we are beginning to see more of a cohesive system, which is why this is potentially dangerous. That first wave is not the main event for Thursday. That's going to come later in the evening, and you could see that by 1 p.m. This is as far as this model goes, unfortunately. So now I have to focus and shift my attention to a global model. So we're looking at the European. This is a global model. It's not as accurate for high-res data as the HER model, which I was just showing you. But notice that it's generally showing the same thing, that cluster across Iowa. As I put this towards 7 p.m., or I should say 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., notice an explosion of severe weather, of those, I guess, rain signatures, but you can assume that with those rain, really heavy rain rates, there's going to be thunderstorms. And again, anywhere these end up forming, strong winds, large hail, tornadoes are all on the possibility. This atmosphere is going to be very explosive. And notice, more dangerously, it kind of develops into a line. So that does limit the tornado risk, as large tornadoes don't tend to happen in a long squall line. Small ones do, though, potentially very frequently, actually. New research has shown. But this does mean that it will be a little bit more area wide, and that does peter out. By the time it's late Thursday, the worst shall be over. But I do want to say that this active pattern does continue. Even though we see a little bit of a break, by Saturday and Sunday there could be another event and another cold front potentially driving some severe weather into our area. The last model I want to show you before I make this video too long is the RAP model, the RAP model. This is another model that is very similar to that first model I showed you, the HRRR. And the newest model run just came in the last few minutes, and it goes out again just like the HER model every 6 hours to 50 hours, so it does give us that look of potentially that Thursday outbreak. Now, unfortunately, it's not as detailed as the HER, and I won't really focus on too much of the first initial wave details. You can see that it does show that. What I want to demonstrate with this model, and which is why we are also zoomed out in a larger scope, is why this potentially could be a nasty severe weather outbreak, potentially even getting us into the moderate, the 4 out of 5, which would be a very dangerous severe weather outbreak at that point, life-threatening, you can argue, especially with the hail and whatnot, but tornadoes as well, really wind, anything. But notice that what we have with this model is we have a distinct low pressure. Now, having a strong low pressure in the summertime is rarer. It's not impossible, but with the dynamics that happen with a low pressure and basically the twisting of the atmosphere that happens with a low pressure, often thunderstorms benefit from that with their severe weather. It allows more inflows, outflows, it allows tornadoes to develop better, wind, and unfortunately on Thursday we have not only a powerful cold front developing on the bottom side of this low pressure. Now, this is just one model, but it is a high-res model. 992 millibars is a quite strong low pressure for summer. We have that cold front right in our area. We have a lot of moisture, pooling of very effective rainfall rates. Pooling of moisture will produce very effective rainfall rates. And essentially, this is a big cause for concern, especially with regards to potentially tornadoes in the western areas of the viewing area that developed earlier on. And as this goes on, potentially developing into some kind of a derecho or a destructive wind event. I don't say damaging, I say destructive, because again, this could be very bad. So stay tuned. I'll be making more updates on this weather channel. And yeah, keep your eyes to the sky. Stay tuned to the local National Weather Service, even during the night hours. You know, have your little weather radios and whatnot, your phone, because this is going to be a quite climactic next several days. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all in the next episode. See ya. Bye.